everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Big Bear and I'm showing you the video that I did a 16 theater paint on my Unholy DK. I think this was the last key for me to get the 16 result. So let's get started. Here on the screen you will see you're seeing my talent, and you can also access to my talent code in the video description. It basically just like the talent that I get from Trader Bio, from some of the high skill player. And yeah, I do not make any big modification to it beside the something for the utility stuff that I want to stay alive, more defensive stuff like that. Anyway, so the first big pull, this route is quite interesting, but it is very viable because of the tank is a protection paladin and he can get most of the kick, so we only need to help him a little bit. And you can see the kick tracker in here. This whole dungeon he do around like 98 100 kick something, while I only do around like 40 or something. But you can see like that big pull we did earlier only viable, most likely viable with a paladin tank, because like the caster, like not just the boss but the ad caster is very dangerous as well. They do two things, like one cast tower random people, and the other one is kind of like a damage buff for all the melee damage, so like it increases damage with the boss and other ad as well. So again, that very dangerous pull if you don't hit enough kick. All right. Other than that, we get into the pull, the whole big thing, and get a like lusted and palm armor cooldown in there. You can notice that earlier I used Epidemic instead of Death Coil on the big pull. First of all, we have around a 7 target, and that's like perfect damage for Epidemic. Secondly, is like we do have some target that kind of like we need to focusing them down, right? The Bloodhound and the Ad Caster. The problem is that coil only hit 2 target, and I can target one, but the other one is no guarantee it's gonna hit the other one that we want. So instead of kind of doing no damage to the other target, I just use Epidemic to hit everything. It way less than that coil on like target priority target, but like as like we have some damage is better than no damage. Okay. So that should be it. And kind of like the cooldown usage, I just use it on cooldown, and that should be it for the first fight. The healer do a very good job keeping us up. In this fight, sometimes you really have to like move around, like spreading a little bit, or else you might clipping the other and just die from some big damage. Okay, so that is the first fight, the first part of the dungeon. This tank here is very interesting round, but I think it's very efficient for perk. So normally after the first boss, we're gonna go to save the Unfallen, the arena boss, but he goes to the Garjab wing. Now not all the way to Garjab, but just kind of like the ad in here, and he pulled basically, I think he pulled everything in here, including the pad. I think he didn't pull the pad right on pull, because they're too far from him, but you're gonna see he gonna run away a little bit and I kind of pull the other one. Okay, and then in here I just try to kick as much as possible and pump my cooldown in here, just like that. I use my AMS over here, just make sure I will not get hit by something. And you see the tank run away to pull that 2 ad in here. Now in this pull right here, to make things work good, of course right here I'm gripping some of that in here, but if you are ranged, please come in melee. Do not stay ranged, okay? Because those ad, they're gonna jump around, and when they jump around they can cast kind of like far from us, and first of all we lose a lot of like cleaving damage. Secondly, like, if they cast like too far from melee, we cannot interrupt, or we can kick, cannot CC them. And if one of those casts the AoE cast going out, that's gonna be a wipe. Okay, so stay in melee, help your melee friend. And also like it doesn't mean that when you stay in melee it's more dangerous, because once the ad will jump toward you, right, they're gonna hit you anyway, right? So it doesn't matter if they're gonna hit you in melee or hit you in range, kind of like that. So after we clear that whole wings ad over there. We come back to the Kotharok and we do another big pull in here. You're gonna see the reason why later, but it very efficient over here. So after we pump all the big cooldown here, right? Our big cooldown come back over here. He pull everything, come over here, he attack the big ad, and then we tuck in this corner right here and start pumping, leaving them down. So here you really wanna try to use some of your AoE CC because like this cast, beside the damage, it's also like cause you reduce haste. And in here I put my AMZ down so that AoE damage will not killing us. You can see like the hunter and me both have like the damage debuff in here, and that is very stressful for the healer, but we do not have a curse debuff. So well, what can we do, right? Just leave the red and use our defensive. So this guy put another AoE, and I think I end up using my AMS over here, yeah. And I also use some Death Strike here to keep me alive and reduce the pressure for the healer, so that way like he can focusing on other defense. A lot of people were trying to kind of, like this my damage is just one or two extra global. I don't want to lose my damage, and they ended up killing themselves, and they blame the healer like, hey, why don't you heal me? And the healer gonna be like, yeah, I cannot heal everyone, when the damage is too much at some point. So again, weaving in some of defensive thing like that, even if it's small, it keep you alive. And like I said in another video, as long as you're staying alive, you're doing something, right? If you're dead, that means 0 defense, and you just slow the whole group down. Not to mention that like the timer gonna be reduced by 15 seconds. Anyway, you notice that the tank gonna go to the side with 2 caster, and that side, if you're a paladin tank, you should always go over there, because the bone magnets, you see that half their HP is a shield, and that shield can be removed by drink shot or the blood elf ratio. So I use a Cantoran to remove them. I think the tank is blood elf as well. But if you go that way and you have paladin, the paladin can basically kick all the kick, and you're just helping him whenever his shield is not broke. So it's very efficient pull. It's very quick, very fast, because like instead of dealing with a full HP pack, now you have the pack with only half HP, right? Makes your life so much easier. So we kill these 2 over here, and I think next we're gonna go to I forgot. Yeah. So he pulled these 2 right here, right, and he used a Cantoran over here. So when we come over here, then we're gonna have the tank interrupt stuff like that. He even stunned this guy right here, and you can see that very quick one, just because like, yeah, we just remove the shield, right? And the percentage given from this guy, from this pack of 2 over here, equal to the pack of 4 on this side. Okay, so again, paladin try to do those pull. All right. In here, usually when on my paladin tank, I go to the side, but this guy want to go over here, and it's worked too, because like he gonna kind of like pull this guy in. I think he pulled both sides in, I believe, if I remember it right, but maybe not. Now he start pulling in here. There we go. This soul biter, there's not much thing about it. Gonna have like continuously casting one of the single target and an AoE. All you need to do is kind of like try your best to cast or stop the AoE. That should be good. If like 1 or 2 after Spirit Frost, I don't know, whatever cast that Soul Biter cast. If it ever coming out is the single target cast, you don't need to worry much about it. Usually like hurt you about half your HP or something, and usually like in this area right here, there's not much of different thing that's gonna be a problem in here. Okay, so that thing called Necrotic Bolt. So if you get like 1 or 2 cast out like that is fine, but if the Necrotic Bolt volley casted, then that more likely a wipe. I don't know why, but that thing, like the damage is way higher than the Necrotic Bolt, even from the same ad. Alright, so we pull on one side, we pull to the side, and we just kill it in here. My DPS is okay in this dungeon. Usually DK is very strong with big pull, but as you can see, most of our pull coming in here is like 4, 5, 3 target most of them. So my damage was quite decent. I think I can do better, but well, my skill is, I think it's stuck like right here. All right. Anyway, over here you can see that we removed the bone magnet shield, and I think that the hunter train shot. So hunter, a lot of time if like when you're searching for the class guys, the hunter doesn't have like a lot of things to do. Where you have a whole tons of utility that you can use and help your group. You can like dispel the disease for yourself at least. You can dispel like purge the shield, thing like that. You can stun, you can knock up. You can do a lot of trick, and well, I'm going to talk about it maybe in another video because I used to play hunter a lot. My hunter basically almost invincible. If you play right, they're very hard to die. They only die if kind of like you don't know what you're doing, and then you get big neglect from your healer. Okay, but anyway, so we got through those part, and now we get to Kothorok, and here our lust coming back. And we lost this boss over here. So for this boss, there's not much thing. I think there's two things I want to talk about this boss. Not one of them, okay, is kind of like the kick, where we need to kick this constantly, and we just need to rotate our kick with a paladin. And here, a lot of time, the paladin gonna get all the kick, okay. Now you see that sphere go through the tank. Yes, then you can do it. Now in here for this part right here, even if you stand next to the boss, just so gonna push all the way back to the wall over here, so you don't really have to run away and lose your downtime over there. Okay, that's one of the things I want to talk about. And then well, that added to the fourth thing that I was about to talk, but do not stand behind the tank. Okay, do not stand behind the tank because the tank frontal. Usually I try not to go close to them anyway, but the Well of Darkness in here, I was quite lucky at first because it's not targeting me. So I will talk about that later, but that's it. This fight most likely just like that, and you just, try to DPS and everything. So again, draw soul right here, you see that I'm staying next to the boss, and then my soul's pushing back to the wall over here. So again, you don't really have to run away from the boss for that. It's just that you have to make sure do not grip your hand into the boss, or kind of you get a weird angle and your soul gonna push to the other side. That's gonna be bad for the group. Okay. So just like that, and I think like in about 10 more seconds, there's gonna be a Well of Darkness on me myself, and we will talk about my mistake that I took. Okay, a lot of kick now. Yeah, seems like the boss does not hate me that much. Well. So let's talk about that Well of Darkness. Basically, the one is on you. I think like it's a ticking dot, and then at the end of that Well of Darkness, it's gonna explode. Okay, so when it explodes, deal big damage. The dot is decent damage, and most of the time your healer is fine with that. But if you get hit by, it's on me right now. As you can see that it hit me a little bit. The tick is quite okay, but then I put my AMS on too early. And at the end, it like explode for a little bit more damage. So what you do over there is kind of like what you do not, when you see the boss targeting you, you don't really have to do the AMS right away. Wait a little bit, like maybe 1 or 2 tick, and then put it on, and kind of like make your healer life so much easier. All right, after we're done with that, then we go to the Godjob wings. We already clear everything, so we run all the way in here. Very standard thing, right? And it is 16, so we don't want to fight with these gas bag guy, because like they do, they're quite dangerous, right? They do a dot on everyone when we're fighting them, and they do a frontal and back toe, front and back inferno, and if you get hit by that, even from a 10, like basically you're instant dead. So it's a 16 right here. Of course, we don't want to fight him as much as possible. In here, he's right there, so well, there's no other way, right? We need to fight him anyway, and the tank tagging him in. This pool used to be very dangerous in Shadowland because of the tank buster from the butcher, and the Harrier over there is like extremely lethal, even for the tank. And pulling with the gas back in here, that a lot of time would kill the tank. But I think they changed it so like the tank buster is not hurting that much anymore. The pull like this become more viable. It's still dangerous though, as you can see. The healer do like 3 million healing right now, but it kind of not impossible anymore in this 16 too. So well, you know, the healer is supposed to do at least that much, and our healer is really good even though he's not playing a meta class. All right, so we killing, I think, like the last of this guy, and then yeah, and the tank gonna go in here and trigger the RP, and you know, more ad coming in. Now this pull right here is extremely dangerous. They can like all of them can jump on one target and kill the target. So make sure you try to move around, okay? And again, range, try to stay closer to melee so we can clear them all down at once, okay? So keep moving. You don't need to move a lot, just a little by little, but you really need to move. And again, stack. In here, we're pulling these two guys into the boss, and again, this used to be like very, very lethal, but right now it's not too bad, and as long as the tank pay attention, he should be okay. All right. Now in this one right here, I think that I do not do it so well. In this fight as a Unholy DK, you really have to predict where your tank gonna stay to put your Death and Decay or Defier down, because like you need the cleave from it. This fight constantly give you like 3 target, and sometimes it will go up to 5 target if you do not kill the ad fast enough, right? So you really want to stand inside of your Defy or Death and Decay, so that way you can cleave the target, and also you can get the faster ring strength, stack going up faster. Okay, but I'm really bad at predicting where the tank gonna go, you know, and that reduced my damage a lot. So don't do that mistake. But well, you know, as time like this, sometimes like focusing on staying alive gonna be a big thing, right? Those ads similar to the ad we met earlier, they're gonna jump on people. Now, if both of them jump on one person, it can like instantly kill them. Sometimes like people like, healer, why don't you heal me? But you know what I mean, like the healer need to move and dodge the thing too. So again, in this fight, it's very unhappy for caster that, you know, sometimes you really have to move. If you watch MDI, you're gonna see like they really have like 1 or 2 people stay at max range to kind of like baiting those jump. All right, so in here, the ad got stunned by the tank, so it didn't do any damage. I got hit sometime, but at least like I keep moving. So that one, right, it jumped toward me, and as I move toward it missed. So these guys, when they jump toward you, they're gonna do a frontal, right? So you can like that frontal is have like quite narrow area, so you can kind of like sidestep it, or like just walk straight into it, okay? But if you see something coming and then you backstep yourself, more likely you're gonna get hit and kill yourself. All right, but that's all about this fight in here. Yeah, I didn't do the best in here, but well, again, that's all I can. Right. Okay. And as you can see, I'm not like the best player all the time, right? And I still be able to do 16. So if I can do that, I think you can do it too. Again, try to stay alive. Don't die too many times. I mean, I die a lot of time before I can staying alive most of the time like this. So if you feel like you die too many times, just looking for the stuff like, why did I die, and what can I do to avoiding those deaths in the future, something like that. So now we're gonna go to the buggy wings. These wings I call it buggy because like it costs. I lost one key because it bugged me. Like on the save the unfallen file, sometimes like you will send down and PvP with one of your DPS, right? And then like as I was hitting that one, the guy that I'm fighting with suddenly sent back to the boss, and then it let me stuck, like stuck on this arena right here, and I cannot come back at all. So we cannot really kill the boss because of that, and yeah, that's the key. And we don't know why that thing happening. Now in here, we try to target this Archer right here, and I basically like ignoring this pack here. Just try to get over there and focusing that down because that guy is attacking people randomly, and periodically, I think every 20 seconds, he put a big dot on people that hurt a lot. So when the tank pull like this one right here, if you really want to top DPS, well, just stay with the big pack, right? If you are DK, help people to pull the Archer in, so that way we can clear everything down. Now, if we don't have access to any of those things, and that Archer just for whatever reason refuse to stay with the group and run by itself, then you really want to go like single target that thing down if you really want to time the key, because a lot of key, high key that I do, like 14, 15, 16, people just kind of, oh, that guy stay by itself, I want my bigger DPS, so I stay with a big pack, and then that guy just snipped out like everybody, right? So don't do that. And also, like you see that this one has a big AoE that bring people like very low heals. So if that overlap with the dot from the Archer, more likely like, yeah, that's dead. So we try to skip the big guy over here, and then we wait in here, wait for the timer from the tank, right? I dismiss my pet, so that way my pet will not accidentally pull anything. And then I do my speed buff, come over here, and well, we skip that big guy. That big guy gave a lot of percentage, but at the same time, it takes a very long time to kill it, so better just skip it. Alright, in here, you have to kill the captain first for your cleave to work. Right, else you only do like 20% of cleave damage. Now, damage from ability like Death Core is different, because like, if I hit the captain and one of my Death Core hit one of these Archer over here, then awesome. They do full damage, because like the captain aura do not apply to single target damage. It only like AoE damage. Right, and in here, I try to grip in here, see my grip coming back, and we just clear them down. So it's quite straightforward for the healer in this fight over here, because if both of the Archer target one DPS, a lot of time they die. So we come over here, I dismiss my pet, and we wait again because we only get our percentage. So we just run through this one, I get my speed buff. The tank give me his speed buff as well, because I'm slower than here. Awesome one. So we get into this fight, and as you can see, our damage is very similar up to this point. Because for some reason, the boss really love me. He sent me down most of the time. I think like there's only one time that I stay up here, but most of the time like they send me down. Okay, we hit this one, try to get out. The warriors were too slow. I don't know why he's slower than me. But we got it, hit this one. In this fight, you will really want to use the BRS, whenever one of your DPS down, because like you really want to destroy the banner, right? 2 DPS constantly get sent down, and then you staying up here, and there we go. Need somebody to kill the banner. So now I have my big Kuda coming back, and then usually from what I read that after you use that transformation, you have to wait about like 5 seconds before you use Unholy Assault for better damage. I don't know why, I do not read too much thing into detail, but as you can see, my damage really boost popping up over here. Alright, so in here we hitting the boss in here, wait a little bit, and then another banner coming out with 3 DPS over here. Most of the time we clear them down very quickly, not a problem, but when there's only 1 DPS, then it's going to be a bit harder. If you see that people doing 18, 19, they kind of like cleaving it, but they do not really like hot swap to it. And And most of the time, like people want to use their speed buff, whatever. DK is very easy for this fight because with this dead advance over here, a lot of time that you can just, like activate that and run out. You'll be fine. In here, I let the hunter kill me because like he killed me faster than me stacking up my dot and festering wound and everything. And I don't want to pop my cooldown just, like to kill my friend over here. I want to pop my cooldown to kill the boss. And because of that, when I coming up, I get like 15 or 16 seconds of like damage reduction. My damage reduced by 10%. Okay. And that kind of like bring my DPS to the bottom. Yeah, really, really low. But, well, what else can we do, right? That's the boss mechanic. Alright, so we hitting the boss in here. And then I'm waiting for my thing. Oh, no, I didn't wait. We had to talk about waiting and then I didn't. I remember now because the reason I used that was because like the next time I will send out, I will let them kill me anyway, right? These both the warrior and the hunter can burst me down way faster than I can burst them down. So well, better just let them kill me and then use what I have. So when I get over here, I didn't try to kill the hunter. I just try to like generate my resource down here. Okay. Now, if you get down with a caster, do not interrupt your friend. Okay. That sometimes they try to build their resource and then you interrupt that one. It's bad. And one of the things that they changed for this boss that I really like is like if you're coming back after the fire and you standing in one of those fronts of the boss dead, you will not instantly dead. It used to kill a lot of people, including me, back in Shadowland, but it's not a problem anymore because I think they changed it. It's just that, you just coming back and then you lose 2 DPS right away just because of the bad timing. And we cannot really timing that, right? It's really hard. Now in here, we when you jump in there, because we skip the 2 mini boss over there, we dismiss the pet. The reason the tank go over there is because he just want to double check if like anything got pulled, right? And that's a problem when you do not play any pet class. If you have like hunter, warlock, unholy paladin, then basically you really have to dismiss your pet when you're jumping down, or else your pet gonna run like through those mini boss and pull them into whatever you're doing, and well, that gonna be a very bad fight. Anyway, so over here we have about like 6 minutes, right? This is 7 minutes, but what the boss timer is 10 more seconds. So 6 minutes into this boss right here, basically like most of the boss at this level, it take you about 3 to 4 minutes to kill. So we have a lot of time. That means that even if we slow down our DPS and kind of like play safer, we still time it, right? So there's no need to play so risky over here. And this boss fight is very simple once you know what to do. Now, as a DK, you really want to watch the manifest of death over here, okay? So I was hitting the boss and I'm watching a manifest of death over here. Then I use my AMS. That gonna kind of so you see that circle right here. It's not putting on me. It only put on other people. So instead of 5 ads, now we only have like 4 ads to deal with, and that makes life easier because like at least one ad will always stay on the boss, right? If your group has a lot of range and they stay too far, then you have 2 creep to get that 2 in there. So like at least like 3 of them stay on the boss, and we can clear them down. Only 1 left, and we can have a range kick to get it in, right? So instead of 5, now we only have 4. Less caster, less thing to worry about. All right. Some of the class work better with more yes, but again, kind of like we have a lot of time, so we don't want to increase the damage by maybe like 2-3% and then causing a death, which kind of maybe cause us a key. So in here again, when I see that manifest death could get on, put my AMS on. And again, you can stay in one of those circles too. You don't really have to run out, right? Just stay in there and you can soak it because you have AMS on. No problem at all. So in here we have a little bit problem with cleaving them down. And I'm putting down the AMZ over here, so like the damage for the group gonna reduce. Even standing the AMZ, we still take a lot of damage. So really, like when the boss at 50%, try to use some of your defensive at a big burst. All right, so in this one right here, gonna be a lot of time. It's gonna be like the charge and the frontal, the boss frontal overlap is all the time. So what I noticed is that try your best to at least stay around like the back side of the boss, and then you're gonna look at the charge like is it gonna be a left or right side, right? Staying over there. So again, I do my AMS thing here, and I try to stay in only one circle. Okay, if you stay in two circles, then I don't know, like you might be okay, but I don't want to do that. Anyway, so here I try to run to the backside of the boss and look at the charter coming in, and this is quite safe, so I stay over here. Then we hit in the boss, That tank buster is very lethal too. Yeah, it do both physical and shadow damage. Right, so here we're gonna have another frontal. You see that one coming over, and then we have a frontal here, so we just stay to the back side of the boss over here, and that's gonna be safe. All right, and that should be the boss, cause yeah, they're gonna be in here. Boss at about 2%. I don't get my AMS on, but the boss had like dead already. So as this adds spawning, boss is dead, and that is the 16 Theater of Pain, and I did over here. So that is how I get Reserve 16. I think this was the last key that I have in that. As you can see, my DPS is okay. It's not perfect. It's okay. It's decent for a key with not a lot of big pull if you play Unholy Decay. And I'm not that good player too. But again, if I was able to do it, then I think you should be able to, right? So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.